Hello, testing, testing. Jane, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, can you try testing your mic and sharing your screen, please?
Okay. Can everyone see this?
Yeah, just try with full screen.
The screen? Yeah. Is it okay like this?
Go try talking again.
Hi, this is Jane from Auckland.
Yeah, all good?
All good?
Yeah, thanks, Jane.
Okay.
You're listening to BLIA Tales, the podcast for mindful people on the go. Hello, this is Miao Guang. Today's BLIA Tale is Choices for Life. In ancient India, there lived a royal couple, King Prasenajit and Queen Malika. The king loved his queen very much, and the couple got along well. Whenever the king was called away by his duties, he would miss his queen so much that he would try to return as soon as possible. When he returned, the queen would always joyfully welcome him home. On one such occasion, the king had returned to the palace a day earlier than planned, but the queen was nowhere to be seen. He asked one of his ministers, "Where is Queen Malika?" "The queen went to a Buddhist retreat," replied the minister. "How long has the queen been gone?" the king asked. "She has been gone for nearly a week. She will return tomorrow," the minister said. The next day, the king ordered the royal chef to prepare a feast. Filled with happiness, he patiently waited for his queen to come home. When the queen arrived back at the palace and saw her king, she said, "Your Majesty, you're back already. I thought you were supposed to come home later today." The king replied, "I arrived yesterday, but you weren't here to greet me." "Oh, I'm sorry. I was in a retreat," the queen said. Though the king was not pleased to hear that the queen participated in a Buddhist retreat instead of welcoming him, he brought out the precious jewels he had bought as gifts and offered them to her, saying, "Look what I got for you." The queen shook her head and said, "Your Majesty, I do not need these. Please give them to someone else." Although the king was disappointed to hear the queen's reply, he was still very much pleased to see her. He signaled his ministers for the feast to begin. As the food was being served, the king said, "I have prepared a feast for you." As the queen saw the many dishes laid out, she thought, "Oh no, I have just taken the precept. If I was to eat this meat and drink this wine, I would break my precept. But I cannot reject another of my king's gifts again." As the queen was caught in her dilemma, a minister spoke urgently to the king. The king then suddenly left the palace in a hurry, leaving the feast unfinished. A week later, when the king returned to the palace, the queen was yet again not there to welcome him. The king thought, "What is happening to my queen? She used to greet me whenever I returned home. But now I'm left to entertain myself upon my return." As it was lunchtime, the chef laid out many new dishes on the table. One of the ministers explained, "Your Majesty, these new dishes were ordered by the queen." The king was now furious and said with anger, "Is this how she welcomes me now? With food?" In the grip of his great anger, the king immediately ordered that the chef be executed. In those days, the king could execute anyone who displeased him. A common saying from that era was, "If the king wants a minister dead, the minister must die." So if the king wanted to execute the chef, there was little anyone could do to change his mind. Of course, the chef did not wish to die, especially for no apparent reason other than the king's displeasure. So he reached out to the queen, begging her to plead his case to the king. When she heard of what happened, the queen thought, "Execution means killing, the taking of a life. That is against the precept I have taken. I cannot let this happen. I must save the chef. But how? She meditated on possible solutions and eventually came up with an idea. When the king returned from another trip, the queen was already waiting at the gates of the palace. She welcomed him joyfully and said, "Majesty, I am so pleased you're back safely at home." Seeing the queen's beautiful smile, the king's heart melted. The queen continued, "We have not had a meal together for such a long time. We should celebrate with wine." Puzzled, the king asked, "With wine? What about your precepts?" "My precepts are important, but you are just as important to me. I want to let you know how pleased I am to see you. But I have one request," the queen said. Feeling extremely happy, the king answered, "My dear wife, I will give you anything you wish for." The queen then said, "Good wine always goes well with delicious food. I wish for our chef to cook my favorite dishes." On hearing her request, the king panicked. Oh no, the chef. He quickly called out to his minister, "Stop the execution immediately. Release the chef at once." Luckily, the execution had yet to take place, and so the chef was saved. The queen then explained to her king the meaning of observing precepts and her initial intention of saving the chef. The precept of no killing means to respect life. Furthermore, the queen was willing to break her precept of not drinking alcohol to save the chef. Reflecting on these matters, the king realized the harm he could have done. Touched and moved by the action and behavior of his queen, the king began to learn about and practice Buddhism, eventually becoming one of its greatest exemplars. The story highlights the true meaning of observing the precepts, which is not to infringe upon or violate others. In more detail, the 5 precepts are: refraining from killing means not violating the lives of others. Refraining from stealing means not violating the property of others. Refraining from sexual misconduct means not violating the physical and mental integrity of others. Refraining from lying means not violating the reputation and trust of others. Refraining from intoxicants means not violating the wisdom and welfare of ourselves and others. Precepts are like a teacher that guides us in developing a wholesome mind, body, and conduct. Precepts are like a shield, keeping us safe. Precepts are like a textbook filled with principles, increasing our virtues so that others can feel comfortable in our company. In this story, the queen was willing to break the precept of no intoxicants by drinking alcohol to save a life, the chef's life. Her intention was pure and compassionate, and not for her selfish desire. Could this truly be considered as her breaking the spirit of the precepts? She seemingly broke one precept to uphold another, to preserve life. It is important to note that no matter which religion we have faith in, we should not blindly and rigidly adhere to its discipline without conscious, mindful, and constant reflection. We must learn to be flexible and use skillful means in applying the precepts in our daily lives. For example, how can we be compassionate and continue to save lives? Such is the true meaning of the precepts. Just as Venerable Master Xing says, "Better to observe the precepts imperfectly than to misunderstand the teachings and thereby lose faith in them.
All right, before we get started today, so welcome everyone to our last session of the WE training. My name is Sinjin and I will be your host for today. So just a few Zoom etiquette reminders. So make sure to keep your camera on and turn it off when you're away from your screen. Make sure you've got your Zoom virtual background selected through the video settings in Zoom. When you want to ask a question, you can use the chat or just simply use the raise hand function in the Zoom settings there. Lastly, make sure when we're clapping, you can, because we're virtually, you can use your hands. You can shake your hands as a sign of applause. And also keep your mic on mute unless you want to share. Thank you. And we'll be getting started very shortly. Okay, so let us get started. Now we'll have a class on precepts by Ling Tao. Just a bit of an intro on him. He has been serving at the temple for over 10 years, currently the senior advisor of BLA North Island, and was the former president with his mark in history as the youngest BLA president in the world, achieving this at just the age of 27. In his professional life, Ling Tao is a solution architect as a contractor with experience in Dynamics 365, and as a power platform expert, he leads technical teams to deliver complex projects. Ling Tao firmly believes in only commitment leads to depth, only devotion leads to excellence, only by being ordinary can one be extraordinary, and only training leads to skillfulness. Now, let us put our hands together to welcome Ling Tao.
Can everyone hear me? Online as well? I need to share my screen first. Hang on. Is it working? Cool. Everyone, thank you for the introduction, Sindrin. It's been a long, I think the first time seeing you be a host. So yeah, it's an achievement for all youth. So it's an honor for me to be here to share my thoughts about precepts in the humanistic Buddhism. So today the topic here I have is exploring a sense of precepts. I know over the past 2 weeks, we've explored wisdom and concentration. Usually we talk about precepts, concentration, and wisdom in that order. Precepts comes first, but this time the Venerable placed precepts at the very end. It's the last day of the training. We save the best for the last. Well, maybe it's like learning to drive. You start with all the exciting stuff, like the speed, navigation, or the thrill of the scene. But eventually you realize, oh wait, I should probably learn the traffic rules first. So the precepts are like the traffic rules. They keep us safe and make sure we don't crash on the road. So before we dive in, let me start a very quick introduction of myself. I was born in Jiangxi province in China. I grew up in Shanghai and moved to New Zealand for high school. And since then, I've built my career and family in New Zealand. I'm working in the software industry, have 2 kids. One is 7 and the other is 3. And both my kids love coming to the temple as well. From the very young age, they took refuge and received precepts. So every year, they continue to participate in all these precepts ceremonies. And because I believe faith should start in a very early age. My daughter, when she was very little, she started asking all sorts of questions. Right? What is the brown robe the people wear during the Dharma functions? Why do they wear it? What does it mean to receive precepts? And what are the precepts? So I told her that precepts are like making a promise to yourself, a commitment not to do bad things, be a good person. So in the temple, there are a lot of people, they took this precept and made this promise. Of course, we're not perfect, but sometimes we make mistakes, but that's okay. So what matters is we renew our commitment and every year. So I know last week we have a couple of YAD members shared their thoughts on the 5 precepts. I wasn't here last week, but I've read your slides. I found the experience very, really inspiring. So today, let's continue this discussion and explore why precepts matter in our lives. So I think everyone here today, whether you're online or in person, we are all Buddhist. But have you ever thought about, ask yourself, like, why do you choose this path? And as a Buddhist, what is our goal? Ultimately, our goal is to attain Buddhahood. And our abbess, Venerable Manxing, once said, she has dedicated her entire life to just one thing, which is developing the wisdom. I think we all are seeking wisdom, but we know it's not an easy journey. But the good news is, the Buddhism provided us a lot of methods to cultivate ourselves. So we can chant Buddha's name, recite mantras or meditation, all sorts of things. We can also be volunteers or accumulate merits or study the Dharma, or simply just practicing 3G, 4G every day. So no matter how we practice, right, whether it's chanting, meditating, all of these help us grow, become a better person. But to truly benefit from them, we need a strong foundation. And this foundation is the precepts. So without precepts, it's hard to focus our minds in the meditation. And without focus, we can't develop the wisdom. So this is not just my opinion, it's the basic teaching in the Buddhism. I have some proofs here, right? Before Buddha left the world, he gave us a very important teaching. Treat the precepts as our teacher, 以戒为师. And Venerable Master Xinming also reminded us, no matter which path we follow in Buddhism, precepts are the foundation. And the great perfection of wisdom treatise, 大智度论, 是龙树菩萨所写的, compares precepts to the earth. He said, just like a house needs solid ground to stand on, our spiritual growth needs precepts as a strong base. So without them, our practice has nothing to stand on. So I think, probably think about it, right? It's like when we work, we don't have our legs, and like fly without the wings. So it's very important. And with these precepts, it's very hard to move forward. So Buddha has showed us the precepts is super important. And let's take a closer look and see all kinds of different types of precepts in Buddhism. I prepared a kind of like a mind map. I think it's probably not easy to see. I'll zoom in a little bit, see if I can, while holding my mic. So there are many types of precepts in Buddhism. So today we'll keep it simple. In general, there are two types or groups: monastic precepts, or these are for all the variables, and lay precepts. For us, like the 5 precepts, the 8 precepts, and there is a special one called Bodhisattva precepts. So this one is because both monastics and the lay people can take this. Another way to group them is from using the natural precepts or preclusive precepts, so 信戒 or 遮戒. So the natural precepts means the actions, they are harmful by nature, like killing, stealing, or lying. And preclusive precepts, these are actions that prevents future problems, like prevents all these natural precepts, or natural actions, I mean. So like the rules, not drinking alcohol, it just helps us to keep a clear mind. And Venerable Master Xing Yun actually summarized the 5 precepts in just one simple precept. He said it's non-violating others precept. Back in the Buddha's time, precepts were introduced when problem arose. So over time, as society changes, the precepts change. So I think the core values, but the core values stay the same. So we adapt them to modern lives. Master has made Buddhism more relevant today. He made a lot of different guidelines and rules for Foguangshan Buddhist order. It wasn't an easy job, but there are many precepts, and also for each precept there are all kinds of rules. For Bodhisattva precepts there are dozens, and for the monastics there are hundreds. Why do we want to have all these precepts? Why Buddha actually made all of that? Aren't we just making all these restrictions to ourselves? Why do you want to do that? Have you thought about, like, can we, as I said before, we want to gain wisdom, attain Buddhahood. Can we attain Buddhahood or get enlightenment or get wisdom without the precepts? Is it possible? Technically possible, right? Why we have to have the precepts? There are some very famous individuals in history, like Dao Ji Heshang, Chen Master Dao Ji, or Ji Gong, someone know a different name. He drank alcohol, he ate meat. Or Kumarajiva, so Zhomo Luoshe, he married, he had children, but they still achieve great spiritual progress. Does that mean precept is not necessary? But think about it, right? But for most of us, right, participates and practicing without precepts is like climbing a steep mountain without a safety guard or safety gears. So there might be some very talented individuals be able to do that. But vast majority will struggle and fall. So precepts, I think it's like the protection for us, keeping us safe on this journey. So what if someone says like, I do good deeds all the time, I recite sutras, meditates and studies Dharma, but can I break the precepts at the same time? Well, that would be like you saving money and spending them all, right, at the same time, or it's trying to pour water into a leaking bucket. So no matter how much effort you put in, you don't get any progress. So it's like, so that's why I would say precepts like giving us strong foundation. It's just like a pianist and must learn how to place their like hands properly first. So we need discipline before we can develop higher skills. Maybe there are some child genius, they can play piano at the age of 3, but that's very rare, right? So for us, we have to admit that, right? We're not genius. Maybe some of you are, but in the path of Buddhism, we need to go steady. So that's why, like throughout history, from Buddha to all the great masters, precepts has always been very important. Because like actions and speech, they come from thoughts, and precepts help us stay aware and stop from acting on negative thoughts. So over time, this will purify our minds. So we know it's important, but some people might still ask, like, I already follow the 5 precepts in my daily life. I'm not killing, I won't steal, I won't lie. Do I have to take the precepts? I'm already doing that in my life. Why do I have to go to a temple, attending these Dharma functions, and wear that robe? I can still chant, meditate without the precepts, without taking the precept formally. Can we do that? Yes? No? Why am I not? It's very quiet. That's a problem of online talk. There is no response. Anyway, I'll go on. So when we take precepts in the ceremony and say, I vow to uphold this precept, we're making a very strong commitment, not just to others, right? It's to ourselves. So when we say we won't do all these things, how can you be 100% sure? Life is unpredictable, right? Full of challenges and temptations. So in difficult times, what helps you stay strong? So I think the precepts give us the support. Sometimes we can lean on this to stay steady. So another important benefit of precepts is the trust. So people who take precepts are seen as more trustworthy. So there's a story, like a king had 2 loyal ministers, and he had both of them to access to a treasury full of gold and jewelries. But he had one rule. You have to, you can enter freely, but first you have to make an oath never to steal. Well, the first minister thought, I wouldn't steal anyway, right? So I don't need to make an oath. He refused and continued as usual. And the second minister thought, I don't plan to steal, but by taking this oath, I will strengthen my resolve and avoid temptation. So he made a vow. And years later, the king needed someone to oversee the entire national treasury. Who did he choose? The first one, because he's more trustworthy. He showed his determination and commitment to it. So I think the same applies to the 5 precepts. I'm married. I have a happy life, but sometimes my wife and we kind of sometimes stay apart for a few months. She was in China or I was in China, quite a few months. We love each other, but for a long-term relationship, it's hard, right? But how can we keep that and trust each other? there was a lot of temptations, potentially. But I think, of course, the love war, has some effect. But another important factor is we both took precepts. We know we will uphold that. We're very committed. We trust each other. So that's definitely one of the important factor. So trust is very precious. It's very hard to gain. So I think taking precepts build these credibility and strong characters. So making it easier for others to trust you and respect you. So I think at the end of the day, precepts not just about rules. They help us grow and live with integrity. All right. So that's why we need to have these ceremonies at the temple, to take them, wear this robe. I know there may be people, even they have taken precepts, they still break it. But at least these people had already made them commitment. We trust them at least, we start with. And then we know these people later on, right? To understand what their true character is. Okay. Now, I've heard this question a lot, like, what if I break a precept if I take them? Right, so I remember when I first started to, I think the first, quite a few years ago, there is a take refugee ceremony as well as a precept ceremony. I first registered just being a Buddhist, like taking the refugee. And Venerable asked me, why don't you take the precepts? I said, I'm not ready yet. And her reply shocked me. She said, taking a precept just the basics of being a human being. I was, wow, I'm a proper human being. I have a good quality, so I must be able to take that. So, and then I did. And then this question came to me as well. After I take the precepts, what if I break it? It seems scary, right? But after so many years, I understand that the true question we should really ask is, what if we break them without ever taking precepts? So that's a more important question. Because the precept help protect us, right? And I remember last week, someone actually shared about the power of repentance. Right? So that also helps you. So whether we take precepts or not, the karma still follows. So it doesn't mean you're not taking the precepts, you don't have the karma. It's still there. But when we take them formally, right, we become more aware of our actions. So if we make mistakes, we feel regret and try to improve. So this helps us grow, making the precepts valuable, even if we don't follow them perfectly. There is a story I read on the Dazhidulun. It's about an arahant and a noble woman. So there was one day, a very wise Buddhist nun, venerable, visited a group of noble women and encouraged them to take precepts. These women very hesitated. Said, I don't want to take it. We are still very young. We are beautiful. We have our social lives. What if we take precepts and break them? The arahant said, well, take them anyway. If you break them, so be it. Well, they were shocked. If we break precepts, won't we go to hell? The arahant said, then go to hell. So even if you suffer, because the good karma you've already accumulated by taking the precepts, these roots or these seeds remains in your life. So you suffer in the hell, but you come out very quickly. So these are the merits you already have. So breaking the precepts is not just about right or wrong. So I think what's really matters is actually the intention. So no one's perfect, right? We make mistakes. So as a human being living in this world, it's very, very hard to follow every single rule all the time. There are some certain jobs, like people, they do farming, they do fishing. It's definitely will cause harm to some of the animals or some lives, for sure. But there is a very big difference between intentionally do bad things or you're just harming by mistake. So if you after you take the precepts, you feel regret and try to improve. So we stop creating more bad karma. So I remember that there is one story that Master went to a village in Taiwan. So the entire village lived just near the sea. Fishing is their whole life. Their life depends on it. So there will be, and then you're asking a monastic, a venerable, go there to teach Buddhism, of not killing. It's not possible, right? You can't tell them to not kill. If they don't do that, they won't survive. But Master said, the action of killing and the intention of killing is different. You do have the action, but you don't have the intention. So keep that. When you kill these fish, don't have that mind of killing them. So I want to kill you. So that's very important. So taking the precept doesn't mean we never make mistakes. It just means we try to be mindful and stay disciplined and learn from them. So that's what really matters. Okay? And in the 大制度论, I can't remember the name of it, the great treaty, it says like lay practitioner can follow precepts like 4 levels. The basic level, the people, they take precepts when they feel pressured, because like maybe the venerable asks you to do that, or maybe a lot of people is doing that, you're the only one not taking them. They're afraid, they're just afraid of saying no. And they're just following the rules and not from a deep understanding or commitment. The second level, people take precepts because they want to have a happy life or less suffering for now and the future. So they see precepts as a way to create peace and avoid bad karma. The third level is people, they follow precepts to reach nirvana, right? They free themselves from suffering and desires. Or at this level of precepts are seen as a practical way to stay focused. So it's like following speed limits. So if you obey the rules, if you never speed, you'll never worry about getting a ticket, right? So you're free of mind of getting a fine because you never do it. 3 years ago, I was in China doing a project for almost a year. So it was doing a medical software. So we built software for the hospitals. And after we finished that product, I went to the hospitals to train a lot of doctors how to use our system. And I got the fortune to be able to stay in the operation room to see all these people, see the doctors doing their operations. So these are like the gastro endoscopies. So, put these like cameras, small camera, very thin ones into your mouth and then into your gastros. There's one particular one I remember, I think I will remember that whole time. There is a very sharp, there was a guy had a very sharp bones in the gastros. in the 支气管. Because normally when you swallow something, that bone will go into your stomach, right? But that one somehow went to the gastrals, and it's very sharp, pretty big. It's about like the size of this, like at least 2 centimeters wide. And the doctor needs to take it out with very precision skills. He needs to have a very steady hand at that time. I saw him failed many, many times because he has a very, very tiny tool that actually grab it and pull it out. Maybe after 10 centimeters, or a few centimeters, it fall down again. And then you see blood. And that was the first time I wasn't trained to see blood in the operation room. That was very tough. But eventually he managed to use 2 things to put them together and then pull it with very, very steady hands. That was super hard. And eventually when the thing came out of the throat and he just coughed it out, and there was blood and the bone as well. After the operation that day, I asked him, so how do you do that? He told me one thing that I will never forget. He said, I have one rule. I will never get drunk. Well, it's, that was the northern part of China, in Shandong province. Drinking alcohol, is a very natural, is a very important thing for their social life. They force you to drink a lot and normally get drunk, especially for these doctors. But he committed himself, I'm not going to do that. No matter how much drink, I want, as long as he said, I think it's probably half bottle of the white wine, and that's it. Not the wine, like Chinese rice wine, right? But he committed himself not doing that because he know every single day he needs to go into the operation room to do operation for his patients. So he dedicated that, and he is one of the top doctors in this area in the whole province, if not the whole country. So that was a moment that I know, oh wow, that's different. And there was another thing. Okay, a lot of people will remind me about the time. Okay, there were a few stories I want to tell, but anyway, let's go to the last slide. Lastly, I just want to summarize. The precepts are not about limiting us. They give us strength. They are the foundation of practice. They guide us, helping us stay clear and focused. So when we follow precepts with this intention, they purify our minds, protect us, and ultimately lead to wisdom and freedom. So let's continue to practice precepts, knowing that each small step brings us closer to the true wisdom. Thank you. All right.
Thank you, Ling Tao, for your insightful sharing. So yes, taking the 5 precepts is very important to have intention. It's not always about the right and wrong. And formally taking the precepts is important because it's a commitment. And once you have that commitment, your 5 precepts also serve as your guardian. So just before you think about doing a wrongdoing, it's just like, hey, stop there in your mind. I'm not going to do that. That's a precept because it's your vow, right? You have a commitment. And also because of that commitment, you bring about trust in yourself that you won't break the precept. And also you bring a peace of mind to others that you won't break the precept. So thanks, Ling Tao. Now we'll be moving on to our panel discussion session. So we are delighted to have Ling Tao and also YAD committee member Edwin join us for today. For participants, you can post questions in the Zoom chat or use the raise hands function to ask questions on precepts that may relate to different areas of your life, such as study, work, family, or relationships. So beside me, I do have Edwin. He has been serving at the temple for more than 7 years as a passionate YAD committee member and the secretary of BLIA North Island. He has undertaken various leadership roles such as event MC, edu admin, and YAD dance choreography. Professionally, he works as a process engineer at Mint Innovation. A little known fact about Edwin, he was on the Dean's honor list by being in the top 5% of his study in chemical and materials engineering. This is the equivalent to a GPA of 8.25. Let us give him a warm welcome. Now, allow me to share my screen. Okay. Now, let's get to the first question. I feel tempted to say something nice to people, even when I don't mean it. I feel this violates the no lying precept. How do I overcome this? Allow me to direct this first question over to Ling Tao.
Okay, thanks. Well, this is reflecting to the no lying precept. I think no lying precept doesn't mean you cannot say something nice or something polite or encouraging. So it's about intentionally, so avoid intentional deceit or manipulation. So I think before you speak, ask yourself, am I being kind or trying to gain something? So for example, like when you see a friend's child, you say, wow, so cute, right? Or your colleague had a new haircut, you say, wow, you look great. So I think in these social settings, these are just the expression of kindness and respect. But like on the other hand, like if you trying to give praise to seek personal gain, for example, like if your manager had a very terrible idea, but you just want to say, wow, that's a genius idea. Just trying to get a promotion maybe. So I think that's wrong, right? That's more leaning towards dishonest. So, or if you say, oh, you're the best. I can never do that like you. It's trying to, ask someone to do the task for you, right? So I think there is a difference in the intention. But I think sometimes if you are unsure what to say, you probably can say something neutral. Like rather than saying it's a genius idea, you probably say, your perspective is very interesting. Or you say, rather than saying this is very delicious food, you probably say you've put a lot of effort in it, right? Otherwise, probably just keep silent. So silence, right? Don't say anything. So yeah, I think speak sincerely, but rather than to manipulate others, stay true to yourself. I think that's very important. I think that's the spirit of this precept. Thanks.
Thank you, Ling Tao, for that answer. So it's about avoiding intentional deceit and manipulation. And like you said, in different work settings, it's just an expression of kindness, and you don't really want it to be on the negative side, like you said, for your own personal gain. So one of your strategies that you said is about keeping it neutral. So perhaps, like you said, the food may not be the best, but you just say, I see they've put in a lot of effort. So I like that it's all about the intention here. Thank you. So we'll move on to the next question here that I have. Even if I've made mistakes in the past, like impulsive lying or struggling with harmful habits, can I still take the 5 precepts and start anew? How can the precepts help guide me toward a more mindful and positive way of living? Edwin, would you like to take a crack at this one?
Yeah, sure. It's an interesting question, in my opinion. So I would like to give you 2 questions to ponder to answer your question. So first, when you say that you have made mistakes in the past, how do you define past? In Buddhism, we believe in a continuum of life, right? There are 3 periods of lifetime: past, present, and future. We probably have a lot of past lives in our previous lifetime. So let's say if you have stolen someone's money in 3 lifetimes before, and if you have accidentally killed someone in 5 lifetimes before, is it still considered your mistakes in the past? That's the first question. Second question. Now, assume the statement being made in the question is correct. So you can't take precepts. Assume you can't take precepts because you have made mistakes in the past. So what are you going to do now? Are you going to break the 5 precepts like crazy? Just because you can't take the precepts? So what happened? Right? So with the answers to these 2 questions, I believe the real answer to this question is obvious. It's obvious that you can't change the past, but what you can do is you can change the present to inform your future, right? Like what Lin Tao said in his presentation, taking precepts is the foundation in your life. And you should actually congratulate yourself for having the intention to uptake the 5 precepts. So my counter response to this question is, since you already have the intention to uptake 5 precepts to make self-improvement in your life, why would you frame yourself out by thinking about the previous mistakes that you have done in the past? I mean, who doesn't make mistake over here? Everyone makes mistake. And it's all about how to move on and how to be better in the future, right? So taking the 5 precepts is a really good intention. I would like to congratulate you on this. And the advice is not to get framed with your past mistakes. If you feel like taking 5 precepts, by all means, go for it and don't worry about the mistakes in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Edwin, for your sharing. So yes, it's definitely about living in the present moment and moving towards the future, making informed decisions in the present moment and having that positive mindset that you'll keep getting better from now on and not being too stuck into the past, like that's more of like a negative nostalgia in that sense. So really live in the present moment and take the 5 precepts. So for our next question, we have, in situations where telling the truth might hurt someone's feelings, is it acceptable to tell a white lie? How can I uphold the precept of no lying while still being considerate of others' emotions? I will bring this question back to Edwin. Thank you.
Ooh, can take a break, isn't it? Okay, so this question, right. In Buddhism, there's a term known as expedient lies, 方便妄语, which is almost equivalent to a white lies, okay? So in some circumstances, of course, depending on your own judgment, white lies could be justifiable. So according to Venerable Master Xing Yun, as long as one of the following criteria has been fulfilled, then a white lie can be considered. The first is the lie that you are telling must be harmless to others. Second, the white lies that you will be telling might be helpful to others. Third, the white lies would not cause any detrimental consequences or aftermath to the person that you are telling the lie to and also to the people around you. Okay? So as long as your white lie intention fulfill one of the 3 criteria, then it's acceptable or justifiable to tell a white lie. Venerable Master Xing Yun also said in his article that, in today's world, it's so complex. There are a lot of interpersonal relationship that you have to deal with. You need to get along well with your colleagues, your co-workers, people at temple, like people around you. There are a lot of complex settings whereby some white lies might be helpful and it wouldn't bring harm to people. So in that circumstances, it is justifiable. But speaking from my personal perspective, I would actually appreciate it more if people tell me the truth. Even if it hurts or it doesn't sound nice, I would rather hear the harsh reality than the delusional, beautiful lie. Okay, speaking from personal example. So as Xing Jun mentioned just now, I am a process engineer and I sometimes get sent over to Sydney for plant support. It's a process plant facility in Sydney. So a lot of times, when some equipment break down, the operators would be unwilling to tell us the truth. Like they will be trying to cover it up. But for me, actually, hearing that news, the last thing I want to do is to blame that operators. I would actually appreciate the operator tell me the truth because that helps me in doing my job better. If a pump breaks down, I want to know what is the mood of failure. Can I do a better selection of pump selection next time so that it doesn't break down that frequently? Or is there something wrong in our process that caused the pump to break down unexpectedly? So these are the questions that I need to consider, and I would appreciate if you can tell me the truth, because that will help me to do my job better, right? So rather than covering it up, I would appreciate the truth most of the time. Speaking of this, right, sometimes when we use our perspective to guess people's viewpoints, we might be wrong. Because we can't really think in other shoes when we are not in that person's position. So a lot of times, saying the truth isn't that bad after all. But of course, that also depends on how you say it. For example, Lin Tao's example just now, like, if the food doesn't taste good, then it's better for you to stay silent rather than, saying that the food that you have done is the best in the world, things like this. You need to master the art of speaking. You don't tell it so bluntly that it hurts people's feeling. For example, if a friend does a bad job in the thing that you ask your friend to do, instead of saying, oh man, you did a terrible job, perhaps you can reframe it into something else. It could be like, thanks for your effort, but I think, these are a few aspects that we can see some improvements on. Why not we work on this together, right? It's all about reframing your response so that you can be considerate of others' emotions while telling the truth at the same time. That's my take. Thank you.
Well, I want to jump in here. Just hearing Edwin's response, I thought, because when you did the last bit where you thought about when you talked about considering other considerations, feelings, I thought about Abbas, right? She's a very direct person.
Yeah.
Do you think she consider your feelings when she tell you off or tell you what's the right thing to do?
I think there's a bigger goal in terms of Abbas' response. Abbas is very direct, and she usually tell you point blank on the things that you need improvement on. And I think I appreciate that, because dealing with your emotion is just a short period of disappointment or sadness. But after that, you will come to realize that you would appreciate to have someone like Abbas to tell you directly and straight to the point on what can you be improving on. So I think I would appreciate that more. So yeah, of course, initially I feel hurt a little, but after thinking about the intention of Abbas in telling me, it requires some effort and energy from her to correct my mistakes. So I become appreciative.
Yeah, thank you. I think the key word is intention, right? So, and also, apart from intention, I think what Abbas does, he's a very wise person. And we have someone that wise enough in life to directly teach you. It's a very rare opportunity. So I heard a lot of people, they say, Abbas is very, what's the word, like very shung, right? Yeah, strict. But I never see that. I think that's a compassion thing. It's very compassionate because for wise persons in your life that are willing to teach you, it's different. So we need to cherish that. But anyway, so that's probably a little bit out of this question. But just want to, when you talked about that, I just want to add some points and my thoughts on that. Anyway, continue.
Thank you, Edwin and Ling Tao, for your input there. So, make sure it's not about causing a detrimental effect to others, and make sure it could be either useful or that it is harmless. And I like the personal example that Edwin shared just now about the machine operator. It would just be easier for Edwin to do his job, manage his responsibilities if he just hears the truth from that person the first time round. And I think that's, very important. And like Ling Tao was saying, it is about the intention. And so just keep going, I assume. All right, now let's have a look at our next question. Many young people are afraid of taking the 5 precepts because of fear that they will break it. For example, they need to be 100% vegan and not drink alcohol. How can this be resolved? I'll pass this over to Ling Tao.
Well, my mic is not better again. Well, okay. I think I addressed this during talk, right? So it's okay to break them. No one is perfect. we make mistakes. But I think the examples in the question is a little bit strange. Like, we don't have to be 100% vegan, not even vegetarian, like, right? Yes, we don't drink alcohol. There is the fifth one, but I says that's a preclusive precepts. It's not a natural one. That which means the intention of that is not restricting you to do that. It just kind of like help you not do really, really bad things, right? So that's why like Master have changed his, not changed, but improved, I think, the 5 precepts, especially the last one, not just not drinking alcohol. It's about not getting drunk. So you don't just always because a lot of people I know that they just like drinking alcohol, and they like the feeling of getting drunk. I don't get it, but there people do, and also they say a lot of things after they get drunk. So that's the stuff I think we should avoid. And also it's not just alcohol, it's the drugs as well, right? These illegal drugs, we couldn't take them. So these are the spirit of that, as Master said, is not violating other people. So that's the most important thing. And also like the example I had, like for these people, the village in the village, right? They do fishing all the time, their whole life. They break it, but that's okay, right? Don't have the intention. And even the story we had, the Bodhi tale we heard before this whole session, the queen broke the drinking precepts to save others. And also these, even during the Buddha's time, there are a lot of people, there was a rule saying you cannot, you can only have 1 or 3 ropes. But because the northern part of India is colder and they need more clothes, and Buddha actually supported that. So it's okay, right? It changes from time to time. So I think the precepts, I think it's quite normal, like that we fear that we might break it, but the precepts are not rigid rules. They are guidelines for self-improvement. They are not punishment. So I think that's the important thing. So the purpose is to help us cultivate mindfulness, not to create guilt or fear. So no one follows them perfectly all the time, right? Simply like even we're living in this world, we're breathing, we do cooking, right? We even just walk outside, we could intentionally cause harm, but we don't mean it, right? So what matters is the intention. So take the precept is about making a sincere effort to do better, not about being perfect. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Ling Tao, for your sharing. So yeah, it's about not being all about perfection, but having the right intention. And like you said, in the spirit of the 5 precepts, it could be summed up as a non-violating precepts. And so the precepts are not rigid rules, not fully set in place so we can't break them. It allows us to be more mindful and cultivate the mindfulness. And Edwin, did you want to have an input on this question too?
Yes, I will just add on something quickly because in this question, what really stands out to me is the 100%. So, okay, everyone here has been through some sort of examination, right? You don't need to get 100 marks in your exam to pass a subject. Like even getting 90 marks or 95 marks, it's still considered A+, which is distinction. And it's high regards. So I think what is important is you need to realize what sort of stage you are at when you are taking the 5 precepts. And you are allowed to do it progressively, okay? So a simple example, if you are really, really into drinking, but you feel like taking 5 precepts, so perhaps next time, after upholding 5 precepts, you can decrease from 3 standard drinks per outing into 2. Right? And a few months later, you can drop 2 drinks into 1. And a few months later, you drop that 1 drink and go for 0% beer or 0% wine instead. And the next time you'll go for juice. So it's all about progressive and all about making the commitments for yourself. As long as you are pursuing the path of self-improvement and you get better each time and each time after taking 5 precepts, it's fine, even if you don't uptake it 100% since the beginning. So yeah, that's my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you for your input, Edwin. So yeah, like you said, it's really about progression and having that growth mindset. So even if I break the precepts this time, when I renew it, next time I will do better and continue to do better, and just cultivating mindfulness, being more aware in the spot about what your actions are, and towards the future, when you renew it, you realize, oh, looking back, this is what I did, but now I'm living the present and doing a much better job this time. Thank you. So we'll have a look at the next question here. Sorry, this is question 4. I have taken the precepts for a long time and have been a vegetarian. My family is against me eating vegetarian food and always says that it is not healthy. How should I deal with it? I think Edwin has quite a good sharing for this one, eh?
Sure, yeah, I can go for it. I can speak from my personal experience. Not quite my immediate family member, but my aunt, which is my mother's sister, actually said it to me like, why you suddenly become vegetarian? It's not healthy, you know, you are just eating leafy veggie and nothing else. How can you be healthy? So yeah, I think it's a common perception being faced by the first generation of precepts takers, because your parents or family members, they could be still not fully vegetarian and they might misunderstand in terms of the nutrients that you can get from a vegetarian diet. So what I do, right, because I'm an engineer, so I follow the scientific approach. You say that it's unhealthy, sure, let's prove it. So I went and took blood tests and the results came out. And to my surprise, I'm actually more healthy than before I uptake the vegetarian diet. So before this, I used to have uric acid problem. I have marginal high triglycerides problem. But after being a vegetarian, the uric acid problem is gone. And the triglycerides level has been lowered. And at the same time, I do not have deficiency in protein, vitamins, and minerals. Like most other people would say that, vegetarian, you can't take enough nutrients. It's not healthy. You need to eat some meat to get your essential proteins. My answer is no. Look at the blood test report. It tells you that vegetarian diet can be healthy as well. I think all of this boils down to how you eat your vegetarian diet. Because you don't have a source of a complete protein from meat, so you need to sort of make up for the proteins that you lack of. So you need to take a variety of food items, things like tofu, lentils, beans products, ginger, beetroot, all this kind of good and healthy food that are good for you and that can, make up for the proteins or minerals that you lack of. So yeah, it's important that you get a variety of food sources. If you ever get confused with what sort of vegetarian diet you can practice, you can always talk to the experts in your temple, right? The venerables in your local temple, they have been practicing vegetarian diet for a long, long time, and they know what sort of combination will bring you the best nutrients, balanced nutrients that you do not need other non-vegetarian stuff to supplement with. Okay? And also at the same time, it's okay to take in some supplements as well. If you know that you are always low in iron, low in magnesium, you can take some magnesium pills or some zinc pills to help and cover up for the minerals that you are lack of. So yeah, it's not a concern at all if you eat it right and if you eat a variety of items. That's my share. Thank you.
Thank you, Edwin, for your sharing. I really like your scientific approach there, going to get medical checkups and, should I say, the engineer approach, and you realize that actually in the end you are more healthy. You don't have a triglyceride problem, and you did say that being a vegetarian is about having taking a variety of food sources, not just limited to one protein. So thank you, Edwin. Does Ling Tao want to have some share on this question too?
Yeah, I had the same problem. So the first thing I want to say to you is you are not alone. I think it's a very common issue, especially in the Buddhist community. I became my mom cried because I became a vegetarian. I'm serious. Like first time we had a meal together, she saw me just taking all the vegetables on the table. She thought you're living a very poor life because you only eat vegetables and not all the meat. And also because we're having a meeting all these friends together, right? She thought I was trying to save the good food for all the friends and not by not eating all the vegetables, but by just eating vegetables. And she cried, asked me why. And when I told her about becoming a vegetarian, she couldn't stand it. She like my father was very, very angry about it. And after that, after I got to the kids, I asked them to become vegetarian as well. Got huge pushback. But I think the important thing is we acknowledge their concern, because the family, they care about you, right? So don't have to be getting to a big argument or a debate or whatever. But at the same time, I think stay true to your practice, right? Your precepts or diet, these are your personal choice. So as long as you're not doing harm to others, you have the right to follow them. So you're not alone. So many of us have the same problem. So that's my response to this. Thanks.
Thank you, Ling Tao, for your personal example there. So like you said, it's about first acknowledging their concern and being able to stay true to your practice and your precepts. And because this is your life, you want to be the master in your life and take control. And yeah, I think that's important. So we'll get on to the next question here, and it will be our last. Now, I'll invite each of you here. So for Edwin, can you share a personal example where the 5 precepts managed to help you in your life?
Okay, personal example. Okay, I will just speak from a general terms. I think after taking 5 precepts, it makes me more observant on my daily actions. It reminds me on, the 5 precepts that I have uptaken, and I should uphold them whenever I could. So just take an example, the precept of no lying. I know a lot of people have fear of these precepts, saying that, what about, if I accidentally make a lie after taking precepts? But yeah, I have the similar scenario as well. So, a typical example would be, for people that's around our age, when your friends ask for an outing or a gathering, or, just to have a meal, like sometimes when you don't feel like going, you might be making up some excuses, and the excuses might not be right. You wouldn't want to say things like, I just don't feel like going, or I'm running down in my energy. You would say something like, I'm busy at that time, I have appointment. But actually you are just lying in your bed, in your room at that time. So it reminds me that sometimes the same goal can still be achieved without necessarily lying to people. I get to be more truthful to myself and also to people around me after taking 5 precepts. I get more comfortable with saying like, sorry, man, I don't feel like making it this time. Maybe next time. Or it could be like, sorry, I'm just busy this week. Can we just do it next time when we both are more available? So yeah, taking 5 precepts at the end of the day, it makes you more mindful of your behavior and your actions, so that you are not intentionally creating some lies that could be otherwise be avoided. That's my personal sharing. Thank you.
Thank you, Edwin. I'll give this question to Ling Tao as well, just very quickly, yeah?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, like 3 years ago, I was in Shandong province, and they had a strong alcohol out culture. And I don't drink. But, in these social meals, like you have to, a lot of people just force you, and the way they talk, and you say, I don't drink is not enough, never enough. Or I'm actually a little bit allergic to alcohol as well. Even if I tell them I'm allergic, not enough. You have to drink. But I told them I took 5 precepts. One of them is not drinking alcohol. They respected and stopped asking me anymore. So I think that was kind of a wonder moment. I feel the powerful of the power of the precepts, right? So they understand the word precepts and the meaning behind it. So I think so that really helped me. So I think for the precept, instead of thinking that as restricting us, it's actually empowering us to stand by our belief and with confidence. So thanks.
So thank you, Edwin and Ling Tao. So yeah, taking the precepts, think of it as empowering yourself and not limiting your life. It's about adding more value to your life. And as from their personal sharings, definitely has benefited their life. And they've shared a lot of their experience for today. So can we please give them a big round of applause? So that concludes the panel discussion session. So you've been sitting in front of the screen for a good hour. So now let's take a short break. Please be back here in 2 minutes, which is 4:05 p.m. Thank you. New Zealand time.
Working together. Light up the light of peace and harmony. Light up the path for all the world to see. Open your heart. You've got nothing to lose, yeah, yeah. Understanding each other, it's what we choose. Open your mind and hold out your hand. Share all you know and do all you can. Oh, light up the light of peace and harmony. Light up the path for all the world to see. This time, this place, the smile on your face. Here in this moment, we can build a better place. This time, this place, the smile on your face. Here in this moment, we can build a better place. This time, this place, the smile on your face. Here in this moment, oh yeah, we can build a better place.
Okay, thank you everyone. So welcome back from the break. Now we will have Jane to give us an introduction on humanistic Buddhism tools. So Jane has served in the temple for over 2 years and plays a key role in managing our weekly Children Dharma class as the program organizer and teacher. Furthermore, serving in the Edu admin team for the White Elephant training. She is currently studying human nutrition at the University of Otago. A round of applause to welcome Jane.
So, hi everyone, my name is Jane and I'm from the amazing Auckland YAD team. In this session, we're going to dive into the depths of Buddhism tools. As Venerable Master Xing once said, with wisdom, every obstacle is a stepping stone. And so with the right tools, just like a hiker with a walking pole on the mountains, we turn challenges into opportunities and broaden our horizons with Dharma. So let's get you properly equipped. Okay. What are some of the tools we have and which of them do you need? Wikipedia is basically like an encyclopedia of everything you require, kind of like a one-stop shop to make things easier. To find the website, you literally just type fogongpedia.org. Of course, you need a device, which I'm sure everyone up here has at least one. Also works on phones and iPads to make things easier. Once you've got into the website, it should look something similar to this. Of course, we're not going to go through each and every single one. We'll just focus on some of the most interesting ones, which, ta-da, unsurprisingly, on the first row under the first tab, make things easier. While we're on the path to attaining Buddhahood, Venerable Master wrote Buddha Dharma Pure and Simple in hope to clarify over 300 topics on Buddha's teachings in a pure and simple way, which is the name, which is accessible and relevant to our everyday lives, which is the one that we sent through email if you've done your pre-reading beforehand. I see some guilty faces. In Bells and Gongs and Wooden Fish, we get to explore the objects related to the daily lives of monastics in a first-person point of view. This one's very interesting, so if you're interested in what each of them do and how they sound, have a look at this one so the next time you attend a Dharma function, you have a much better understanding. Then, Infinite Compassion and Endless Wisdom goes on to explaining the introduction to the stages on the path to Mahayana Buddhism, which is the idea of liberating both self and others. Whereas positive forecasts for life help to guide people with words of encouragement, especially in times of uncertainty or when we felt lost or unsure of what we should do. The essence of humanistic Buddhism covers a few important themes such as joy, harmony, respect, tolerance, equality, and peace, as means to provide insights on spiritual guidance and directions for development. Okay, time to go through your pre-reading homework. Once you've chosen a reading of your interest, for example, Buddha Dharma Pure and Simple, your laptop will bring you to a website which looks like this. You can sift through the list of titles and topics according to their different categories for easier access. Or you could always search for the keywords at the top right corner. Once you've found your topic, click on the underlined titles and it will bring you directly to the PDF to start reading. This is the same if you're more of a Chinese reader, or you could do both to consolidate your understanding. Buddha Dharma, Pure and Simple, offers in both languages, in Chinese and English. There are a collection of 6 series, which, hint, hint, they do sometimes come up on exams. Each topic comes with a foreword and preface as an introduction before you start reading. This is the one for precepts, continuation of the topic discussion from today. The PDF then goes on to explaining on what the 5 precepts are, as people often felt reluctant to uphold the 5 precepts in the first place, because of the fear of breaking them to avoid constraints and inconvenience. But in actual fact, the 5 precepts are not there to constrain us, but they are there to protect and guide us with not violating ourselves and others. Now, let's dive into the audios and podcast section of Fogongpedia. If you are more of an audio listener, Buddha Dharma Pure and Simple is also available as an audiobook. But today, we're going to go into Bodhi Light Tales, which is a #1 go-to for children Dharma class. Here, you will find a series of short stories and readings, of which all of them contain some morals and values for you to learn from, in a more fun, engaging, and applicable way with scenarios and characters. Here's the one that we have read today, or you could also listen to the podcast by Venerable Miao Guang. It is also on Spotify as well. There isn't a definite right or wrong when upholding the precepts, as the Queen let us understand that we are not restricted by rigid rules and regulations. and should not blindly follow them without constant reflections. Just as Venerable Master Xing said, it is better to observe the precepts imperfectly than to misunderstand the teachings and thereby lose faith in them. For someone who has been commuting to and forth from work, spending hours and hours a day traveling in the 6 to 7 a.m. traffic rush to work, or on a bus to uni for yet another lecture, this could be something for you. Because 365 Days of Wisdom is also available on Spotify too. So why not spend just a few minutes of listening and turning your travel time into a meaningful start to the day? With a little words of encouragement, strength, and wisdom, we can brighten our day just like that. Under Buddhist music and chanting, you can also find some very catchy sounds of the human's world videos to watch from. To read on the background history and how Venerable Master propagated Dharma with the magic of music in the 1950s. FGS English Dharma Service is also another great page as it covers chanting, prayers, and also Dharma talks to explore. Pretty sure all of us have chanted Heart Sutra before, but how many of us actually know what it means? Here you will find a detailed introduction to the Heart Sutra from what the title represents into going into the depths of the 3 levels of emptiness and the 5 skandhas, which is 色, 受, 想, 行, 识. Here you can find all sorts of prayers, but other than prayers, there are also guides on how we do meditation, practice mindfulness, and also the procedures for sutra transcription if cultivation is what you are after. Here is an example of a prayer of Medicine Buddha as we pray for protection, for purification, and the reducing of sufferings. But of course, the list goes on, and there are also other prayers for repentance, for blessings, and also a prayer upon arising in the morning, which is my #1 go-to. Last but not least, the last tab here is on Dharma Talks. Here you'll find many interesting videos on how we deal with stress, the incorporation of Buddhism into daily lives with our lovely venerables as speakers for profound discussion. Okay, next, if you're looking for texts and sutras, you can go to HB Reader, which is over here, and it should bring you to a website which looks like this. Here you can find all sorts of readings, which my #1 go-to is the Humanistic Buddhism series and 100 Sayings. If you're more of a visual reader like me, you may find it extremely rewarding for collections of series in physical copies, which I treasure. Here is an example of 100 Sayings of half and half, which goes on in explaining the nature of half and half phenomenon in this world. Let me give you an example. If there are unfortunates and miseries, there will always be a bright side of things. There are nights and storms, but at the end of the day, dawn will always rise and every rainbow will shine. It is because of these half and half that we are able to realize our flaws and strive for improvement. And it is because of these half that we can see the glimpse of spark and the light of hope despite the darkness. For life's 10,000 affairs on how to survive, we always tend to look for external confirmations and seeking from the outer. But what we should actually do is to seek from within and our inner selves. For example, when someone gives you an opinion or feedback, it is important to accept, to take it in, but remember to also sift through what you actually need. Okay. Let's go on to the actual websites. If you're more of a Chinese reader, this website is really good for you. This books.masterxingyun.org because it contains all sorts of the complete works of Venerable Master Xingyun, ranging from sutras to the threefold trainings to the insightful readings that we just did, and also prayers. And if you're also interested in the history of the founding of Fogongshan. Here is an example of the readings, and the website should look like this. There is also an autobiography of the introduction to the Dharma tools and instruments that we mentioned earlier. If you're an English reader, singren.org is the other website which gives you the exact same introduction of Dharma instruments, but in English. If you find the one that you want to know about, for example, Haiqing, and click onto it, it will bring you to a webpage that looks like this. It will tell you what it looks like, how it's worn, and what it's meant to be worn for, and what it's made of. For bells and gongs, they'll also describe how they sound like. If you're a super keen bean and wanting to know what a day in the temple looks like, go to Fogongshan Monastery website. Then you can read from the break of dawn to the very end when the lights are out in the temple. Okay, let's see if anyone of you are listening. Let's do a quick run through of the actual website of Fogongpedia, which we just did. This is our encyclopedia. Okay, so here you can find, here's the English Dharma service, audiobooks and podcasts, Holy Light Tales, and this is the Spotify one. If you keep scrolling down, you can find the Buddha Dharma Pure and Simple over here. If you click onto it, it will bring you over here. Here is our search engine, the categories, and also the titles, list of titles, which will bring you directly to the PDF pages for reading. Here is our Buddhism HB reader. The thing with humanistic Buddhism reader is that, for example, with the prayers, it is exactly the same as the prayers over this page. But however, with humanistic Buddhism reader, if you hover over the words and click onto it, it will give you a direct translation of the terms and also a breakdown of the words. The same works with the text as we read as well. If you click onto the words, it will give you the direct translation. And that brings me to the last page of my TED. Thank you everyone for listening and good luck. I hope these Buddhism tools will be your hiking sticks, pushing you to a greater height as you broaden your horizons with the Dharma.
Thank you, Jane, for your informative intro of the humanistic Buddhism tools. So everyone knows we're living in this digital era, and there's there's an abundance of tools all online. We have Fogongpedia, and as you said, all those tools linking to Fogongpedia. And when you have your own time, you can look at it. So thank you once again, Jane. Now, next, we will have our Abbess time. So, round of applause, everyone. I'm sure everyone knows Abbess. Our Abbess is the teacher for the police. She is the patron of Wing 261 of the NZ Police College since 2010. In 2022, she was awarded as Kiwi Bank NZ Top 10 Local Hero of the Year. She has also recently been appointed a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, MNZM, for services to the community. These achievements all show the devotion to Buddhism. And I believe she has 3 key roles in leading YAD. The first one is as a teacher. She teaches us leadership skills, mental guidance, and trains us to be a quality person. For example, when we do gardening, we take care of the equipment and make sure it is in sight and we don't lose them. So at the end, once we finish gardening, we have to make sure we collect all of them. Must all be in sight, or else it's a waste, right? So it teaches us to cherish the causes and conditions in our lives and taking care of resources. Number 2, she is like a captain. She treats us like a soldier. She always sees the strength within us that we don't even realize ourselves, helping us to maximize our potential and enrich the value in our life. And number 3, she is like a mother, always making sure that we are fed and treating us like one big family. Once again, round of applause to welcome Abbess. Allow me to share my screen. So, for our first question, when you feel as though there is no purpose or motivation to pursue something, how can we overcome that?
Really? You should let Evis talk first.
Okay, we let Edwin talk. Yeah. Okay. So what is the question? Looking for Ling Tao.
Well, I said, like, it's first time seeing Xinjun become the host. He did a good job. It was good. But I think for Ebis, we probably want to ask Ebis to say a few words first before we ask the question right away, right? So for everyone online, I think you all know Ebis. She's like, Xinjun has a good summarize. She's like a leader and also a mom. We also call her Ebis mom. So let's everyone give a big round of applause to Ebis. Thank you for being here. No, not loud enough. Come on, louder. Come on. Okay, let's pass the microphone to Ebis. Thank you.
Hi, everyone from the Oceania, and glad to see you here for the last 3 weeks, plus today is 4 weeks. And I hope that Oceania will make the world proud, will make Oceania proud, because we all are our unique one, on heaven and on earth. In heaven and on earth, we are the unique one. However, the unique one need to really like polish and learn and, adjusting as much of that need when you need to adjust, because we are the whole of the world. It was formed by the cause and conditions. So how we can have this cause and condition put it together, the right cause and condition put together. So when you lack of something like which is not very right to the condition, then try to make it right. And then if you didn't know how, there's still many people around surrounding you, and refer to them. They always have people can give you the advice. So unless you suffer from the autism, I always say that I suffer from autism because I have too many things I want to do. So I didn't have too much of the social life, that what we call a meeting, like to go, that's what the young people say, like here and there. So I always say mission. So always full of, even I don't need to even think of, but the mission is always there already. Say for instance, my mission is I wanted to promote Buddhism. I want to work for the Buddhism. I devote myself to Buddhism because in Buddhism there's so many things it's awaiting there ahead of you, like to do. So say for instance, like even the constructions also, it takes years to construct, and after construction, what is the software that need to put in here, and how we can maintain and manage and do it or carry out every day. And after 10 years, not 5 years, after 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, like myself, I've been in Oceania for the last 35 years. I was here since 1990 in March. Already I'm in Oceania, and many of you hasn't born. Or probably you hasn't died. So, for those that probably hasn't died, and then after you pass away, and then you come back again with a new body, then you join again to the YAD, to the temple. So it's very naturally for you to join in. So it's life after life that the mission is carried out, and it's so focused, so clear. This is a mission. I wanted to make myself like, the work never finish. We finish the work that is always there. And we create, say for instance, this training course also, it was created by the Oceania YAD. We can also not to do it, but I think we want to do it because we have the motivation. So if I didn't have the motivation, if I didn't have enough conditions, but I can be one of the team members to be there to support, also that's a motivation. if you even of this motivation also you can't get it from anywhere. There always friends surrounding you, so don't close yourself from the world. You know, there must be people surrounding us, is there for us. You know, you don't feel that negative because the sun comes out every day in the morning and the world is changing all the time. So we want a good change. So when you have no motivation, look for someone that you can talk to. You know, some that are really like bright, and talk to them. They'll bring you, you know, to the path that you can't even finish the mission. So Vera Master say, I didn't leave behind the money for you, but I left behind the work that you cannot finish. Okay, one more time. Before Vera Master leave us back to 2023, he once said that I didn't leave the money behind for you to spend. However, I left behind a lot of mission that you can't even finish. So after he left, we are so busy. Many of us are so busy. Why is that busy? Because there's a lot of mission, and I felt desperate, and it's important, and it's important, and it is urgent. It's there that don't waste time, because we all been given 24 hours a day, and it's not easy not to let the time pass. It's so easy if you didn't notice the time already passed. And now today in New Zealand already 4:30 in the afternoon on the 8th of March. Already. Then how many hours left for today? 2025 is already coming to, we are now in the March of 2025. How can this happen? It's so urgent. Time is so precious. Look for someone that you can talk to, okay? So who actually asking this question from Melbourne? No, don't worry. You know, Melbourne have a lot of genius. Last week you had a genius person who like talking like a bullet. Look for her. I don't know your name, you know, and you look for her. She's very energetic. She will pump you up. Okay. If someone from Melbourne, if you think that to New Zealand is too far away, you know, someone next to you that talked last week, you know, good talk, very practical, and it's, you know, not too much of the theory, but the theory is already there. You go and talk to her, right? So this question one pass.
Thank you, Abbas, for your sharing on this question. Now, shall we get on to the next question?
I've been warned or advised that or reminded that always one question I can talk for like hours. So today we got 11 questions. So I better like everyone have the question that I can answer. You know, I can answer all your questions today. So just put it there. So when the family feel ill and you read yourself, we don't need to go through the whole the statement. Okay. So what can you do? You can please everyone, and I think respect the person is important. You respect the patient, respect that, you know, what he or she needs, and then don't force someone to go for, you know, from a vegetarian and to eat meat or to the meat or anything, you know. What actually important? Eating is not actually like really the key in life. What is the key in life? To get enlightenment, to have wisdom, to be wise, to be someone learned and like capable. I think that is what we're after. Whatever you eat actually is not actually very important. What you eat is not important, but I think respect and helps, you know. And then if the person don't want to be, you know, to break the vegetarian, don't want to eat meat, don't force them. Just like you force someone to eat the corpse. Is that corpse? Can I use the word? The eating meat, you know, like eating the body. To the vegetarian, like, you know, you put the meat right in front of us. You say, "Excuse me, you know, I don't think I will put the dead body into my mouth." So how can you do that? If you can, don't force anyone to do this. Respect is important. And also give advice is good. You know, you can, okay, if you have this disease, suffering, you know, this sickness, and then you probably can read this few of the video, and then there are a lot of people talking on the website, then you can do. So help them, respect them, and cherish them, and provide a good advice. I think that's key. So I hope you, who is the person? Jess from Melbourne again? Melbourne, what happened? Melbourne have a very quick mind. You know, they ask a lot of questions. Is that all right? Jess, I hope you like it. Who is Jess? Can you put up a hand? Not even here. So why she ask question? And why do we answer for her? I only answer who is only here. If he or she is not here, why my answering is not, doesn't help it to the person. Or cancer, whoever is not on the line. Please delete. See, I'm so sincerely like answer your question, however you are not here. So what is the sincerity that you show to me? I think that is like, you know, chuck it to the bin. Sorry. Yeah. All right, next. Again, Melbourne. Oh, come on, next.
No, she's not here.
Thank you for your sincere answer question. For your sincere answer, Abbas. So our next question is on the screen now.
Who is the person? Who? Can you put out a hand?
She's not there. Next two questions from Rima. Next. But I think the same question, people might have the same similar questions.
So, my brother is a Christian. You have to know more about Buddhism, then you know what to do. If you didn't understand about your belief, you didn't even understand what you practice about, how can you go and talk to other people? How are you going to explain? You don't need to explain, you keep your mouth shut then, rather than fighting. Because you make your belief even worse. Because you don't even understand fully to your belief. Then you just like, you know, either that you bring it to someone, you know, to talk to your brother, or otherwise that you had to learn more about Buddhism, then you know how. And whatever you do is so good, quality, and wise, and smart, of course, they will agree to what you believe, because your belief bring you even more reasonable, bring your belief like enhance you to be even a wiser person. So keep practice, because if you're a wiser person, I have a good life, because I have to stay with you. So if you're a wiser person, if you're someone like knowledgeable, and it's so easy to deal with. I would say that go and practice more, make the life even, have even quality, because that is how we can enhance ourselves. All right, next, Melbourne.
Thank you, Abbas, for your answer. Our next question is here now.
What? No, which question?
Question 4 is on the screen now. With growing interest in tarot, astrology, and fortune-telling among young people, how should Buddhists view these practices? Are they harmless, or do they risk fostering attachment, superstition, or misunderstanding of cause and effect?
To understand yourself, where from?
This one should be from Rima as well. Rima from Melbourne.
Why didn't you go and understand yourself better? Why you rely yourself to something like, you didn't know? Why didn't you come back to yourself, to your own roots, back to your root? Can anyone tell her? From Melbourne, you Melbourne people. You Melbourne people from Melbourne, put your hand. Where the Melbourne people? Melbourne YAD. Good. Michael, you know Rima?
Yes, I can let her know. Thank you.
Okay, whack her heart. You know, I think she got a bit of confused in her mind, and she wanted to do big things, but she didn't start from the small step. You know, you want to do a bigger picture. You know, start from a small step. You know, nothing is that Rome wasn't built in a day. You know, so be practical, and then instead of like going out, looking, searching from outside with all that, why didn't you come spend your time and come back to your own self and come back to your own roots that you feel even stable and you know. So to be practical is practice, learn, and be there instead of like here and there. It doesn't help. It won't help. Right? Okay, next.
So for our next question, we have how can we learn to not get discouraged or demoralized after facing a setback in life? Sometimes our patients will pass away, and often I feel I could have done better. This shakes my confidence and affects my care towards other patients. How can I overcome?
You must be a doctor or someone, a medical staff. Where from? Michael, Melbourne. Is that the Michael just now?
Yes.
Are you a doctor?
Yes, so I'm a junior doctor in my first year.
Okay.
as a doctor.
Oh, okay. So you're facing this in your daily life. All right. You must be someone that very compassionate. Adding more of your practice. You definitely have your senior next to you that you, because if you're a junior, you definitely have the senior or someone that more experienced than anyone else. Always refer to them, and you have to learn also how to, if you're a doctor, junior doctor, learn how to observe that the changing of a life, how, for instance, our mind, that we can improve all the time, and we have to improve. For the physical, the mind can change. The physical body can also change because it was formed by the four great elements that, the earth, water, the wind, and the heat. Since it was a forming type of things that we are living, it's a living stool, it's a living machine. It definitely one day, like a car, it will deteriorate and it will tear apart, and we fix it. Go to see doctors, we fix it until one day that you probably can't fix it anymore. So when you observe this, it will help you to learn how to, like we say, the cause and conditions. Observe how the things forming together, that the life forming together, and one day this will go off. So we try to maintain as much we can, maintain ourselves to stay longer possible. So we take care of our physical. Of course, we take care of our mind as well, both mind and body. So if all these things, it needs practice. It's not saying that we are the co-brother, not that. It's that I need to stable myself, then only I can help other patients, help more people. If I have too much of the emotion attached to my patient, then you need to look for counseling. You have to ask for help. Otherwise, you will collapse. Because too much of the emotion involved, that you can't do things like precise and properly, because too much emotion, it will collapse you. When you have all this emotion on you, it shows that you have love. And this world, it was formed, we born because we have the love with someone. At least with your parents. Otherwise, you will not get reborn or enter to the womb of the mother. Because of the love, then you come to this world. but the love will also like damage us. Too much of love, the love everywhere. You become the playboy. Because you have all your love everywhere. You didn't control or manage it, taking care of, or like that precept. You didn't uphold the precept. It becomes trouble. So what to do with that? Love plus wisdom equal to compassion. This is a formula. So you have love plus wisdom equal to compassion. So we have to have love. Without love, we can't practice bodhisattva practice. We can't, because we didn't have feeling. It's very dumb.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you
so
much, Elizabeth.
okay.
I'm just saying, yes, thank you so much for sharing with me your experience, Elizabeth. Thank you.
To ask for help and counseling or talk to your senior, then definitely they will help you. Even sometimes talking will help you relieve your sorrowness. But you also have to practice how to be like stay calm. And yeah, that is very important. It's very good that you ask this, because you definitely have facing this sort of trouble. I mean, like challenges, but take it. This is all the road that you have to come across. This is a road this is a path that you need to cross over. And one day you will be very strong, but also very compassionate and helpful. Okay, good word. All right.
Thank you, Abbas, for your answer. For the next question we have is, if AI can simulate human emotions, thinking, and decision making, how can Buddhist wisdom guide its ethical development? For example, AI will generate some scripts and could act as AI venerable, and how does this align with Buddhist principles? This question is from Regina. Auckland.
Regina, okay, put out a hand. Okay, so very good. I think the key is, what are we after? What are we after? When we say now so many information, resources, what are we after? We still wanted to be someone like really a wiser person, a smart person, and you can be even learnable, knowledgeable, and you are helpful. You can take the task. You got a lot of the guts. That's what we're after. So no matter what pattern, what methods can bring us to a wiser person, we will take it. Say, for instance, now you can see me, I can see you. Those from Perth, even so far away, I mean, thousands kilometers away, we can see each other just because of this AI here, or the high tech that we can see each other in Oceania. Is that someone from Philippines? Yes. Really? See, even the Philippines also join in because of the high tech. So we appreciate all this high tech bring us together. However, we spend times here together is because we wanted to share the wisdom, to share the experience, and to know you, to know me, and we can stay together, we can support each other, and be a stronger team. So this is a high tech bringing us together. So regardless, as long as it can bring us, a better person, a quality person, a wiser person, you can learn from me, I can learn from you. Don't waste time to talk rubbish. I think that is the key. So whether it's AI or not AI, I think AI also caught quite a lot of trouble, just like, things can be two-way because we're in the duality world, we are in the worldly, this other world. So things can be always either good or bad, or either like in the neutral. It can be anything. It depends on how we use it or how we apply it. I hope it helps you. All right.
Abbas, for your sharing there. So our next question is, how should I let go? How do you build affinities with others, and how does one maintain a good relationship with them? If there are conflicts, how do you resolve it? This is asked by Cohen of Perth.
It's so hard. Are you here? Cohen. Oh, I saw you. Yes.
Hello, Venerable. I'm here.
It's so hard. You know, you try to build up yourself as much possible. You know, don't put he or she in your heart too hard, too important. Otherwise, you will definitely be knocked down by this person or this thing. Because there's so many things in this world, there's so many people in this world. You know, if you can, you know, you try to, you know, serve or give or anything that you can give. Otherwise, you know, don't put this thing into too important in your heart, because otherwise you didn't have the ability and you will be knocked down, right? So if you can say something constructive, if you want to say some word constructive after you say, if you hear don't like to hear what you say, and you say what you're supposed to, if you're the boss, if you're someone who in charge on business, you know, try to put yourself on business. Otherwise, too much involved, too much painful, you know, on business. And if you cherish each other, you know, if you cherish, and that is very good, because, you know, cherish is so important. You know, you cherish the other person's company. You know, you cherish that you're here with us. You cherish that your ideas to the groups, anything. But if you think that it's too hard, either that you know, don't put this thing too hard to your mind. Otherwise, you can try to just master, say, 4G, forgiving. You just give, and then you don't ask for anything in return. Then you will not hurt. You won't feel hurt. If you have, you can practice that. After sometimes, only I'm giving, I'm helping, I'm here. I don't ask for anything. I only ask for some air, you know, air to breathe, able to breathe. I don't even want to have a cup of tea or water. I don't ask for anything. I don't expect anything. You know, wherever you go, you know, with this attitude, this pattern, after times, you'll be the unique one. Okay, so yeah, it's
Thank
very
you for
hard, you
your
know,
answer.
because in Baku, in Buddhism, there are 8 suffering. You go and see what Baku is, that you love someone, that you can be with him or her, and you hate someone, and the person is always there every day with you. Oh. So, 平常心啊, you know, like just stay normal, stay business, you know, like not stay business, but staying calm, don't ask anything in return, you know, then it would definitely help after times. Like, Seka.
Thank you for the advice.
Thank you, Abbas. So our final question for today is, how do you practice meditative concentration and being present when you are busy in life? There are many things going on in the head and a lot of things to be done. So sometimes you forget what you've talked about with someone because you were present.
Kevin? Who is Kevin?
This question was also
Oh,
asked
the
by
same person.
Cohen.
Okay. Take a deep breath. A deep breath. And then juggling. Which one is actually important? Urgent. Urgent comes first. You know, you put it urgent, second urgent, and last urgent. Then get the urgent one. Say, for instance, the medical, they got the A&E department. You need to save the one that already, like, if you don't save it within a second, they will pass away. So what to do? So you need to have the urgency. You know, the urgent comes first. And then there's always thing that you can, if everything already that too much, ask for help. You know, you need to ask for help. Then if you can't ask anything for, it depends. It just had to go to individual, like you had to quote the case. Because I can only, because you're give me in general, you're asking me in general, I can only reply you in general, the urgency comes first. So if you didn't know how the urgency, you had to ask, you need to ask for help. Ask for someone who says, there are always people there, you know, for you that you can ask. So don't grabs everything on you, on your shoulder. Otherwise, you were just like, you were facing a trouble because, as I say words before, 包山包海包地球，地球碎得粉粉。if you take everything on you, that I can assure that you definitely can't make the things good. You can't bring out the things in the good conditions because you have everything on you. You should have the people in your heart. Okay, Xinjun is there, and then Angel is there, and then Linda is there. They're always there. There's always someone there. If your heart didn't have other people, then you will think that the too many things is always on you. Share the loads. Learn how to share the loads. It's also another method. Take a breath. So say, for instance, when I, back to 2003, that this temple in Auckland is in the condition, I was in a very, very bad condition. And I don't know why I was in Sydney and I was assigned here and to tidy up the constructions. It's very, very bad. All the lopsided constructions, you don't know what to do. To that bad. Only one day left, like the temple will go bankruptcy. They declare one day bankruptcy. From there, that we start tidy up. 20 years now. When you come here, you see all the tree grow, everything is very good quality, and so many people coming to the temple, like many hundreds every day. And they come in, either that enjoy the temple, enjoy whatever, in this temple. Back to 2003, it's really, really bad. That whatever you say, whatever you do, whatever, everything will be complained. Even like drop you, they will push you to know. If I can't use the word, I don't want to damage you. So never mind. As long as I'm still alive, and then I'll prove you, I'll make it work. So 20 years, after 20 years, you were here last year, you see how the whole temple, after 20 years, that we make it work. It's so hard. We've gone through this. I don't know how, but I'm still alive. Yeah, so if you think that a lot of things that you want to do, concentrate, focus, you can take a deep breath and then work out someone that can help you. I hope it helped.
Yes, thank you very much, Abbas.
Your insightful sharing. With the time we have left, would you like to give some concluding remarks? Let's give it 2 minutes, Abbas. I think that would be good. Thank you.
Okay, I open to the ground. That if you wanted to ask any question now, I can, open. Yeah. Okay, start. Chen. Okay, just talk. Just speak it out.
Okay. Auspicious greetings, Abbas. I had a question. I have a very good friend. She is the daughter of the family, and then at the same time, she has her grandma, her mom, and her brother fell sick at the same time at the moment. Different type of illness they facing. And then I can see she's trying to cope. She's trying hard to cope, but I can still see it's very hard for her, and I feel for her because I know her for a very long time. I just don't know how I can maybe share something regards Dharma or Buddhism to help her lighten her emotions or weight on her shoulder.
Okay. When they come to this grandma, mom, and who, brother, all fall sick, ask for help from the hospital. And I think in Australia, there always a social worker or to help, to support a family. So instead of one cell that you want to carry out the whole of the burden, can always go and apply for that and then it will happen. It happened in Australia and New Zealand. There's always this side of a system from the country, from the government. So don't do it only by yourself, but ask for help. Don't take by yourself. Otherwise, he will become the fourth patient. Now the family already have 3 patients. If she didn't take care of herself, then she will be the next because too overburdened. Definitely, it's a must to ask for help. Otherwise, the journey can go too far. All right. So don't only by herself. If 3 family in the 4 already, like 3 in the family, already 75%. Yeah. Go and tell her, and you can help her to apply or to look for resources to help. Is that the way? Perth also quite a big city.
Yeah. Thank you, Abbas.
Thank you, Abbas. So that is all the questions we have for today. And so thank you for all your insightful sharing. Can we please give Abbas a big round of applause?
Did anyone from today wanted to say something? Can we quote one city one? Okay, someone from Perth. The next, Melbourne. Get ready, and then Sydney and to Queensland. Or Christchurch. Okay, 1 minute from one. Perth? If Perth didn't say, okay, we go, like they give up. Okay, Melbourne. Melbourne also give up. How are you going to be a Buddhist? So stingy. Didn't even can you say something? 没有人要说话。None in Queensland. Sydney? Anyone from Sydney? Nani? Okay, say it out loud.
On the behalf of Sydney YAD, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to share your wisdom. I think all of us learned because we're used to traditional classes, but this one was more colloquial and about individual experience, which we thought was really useful.
Aggressive Sydney. Applause. Perth and Melbourne, you need to catch up. Okay, it's Christchurch. Say something from Christchurch. Patrick. Go, Patrick.
I think just echoing what Sydney said, thank you so much for taking your time and for sharing with us your wisdom so that we can also help grow in our wisdom.
Patrick tried to learn Chinese, so I don't know whether you felt disappointed when you hear we speak in English. We all like upside down. The English one wanted to learn Chinese, the Chinese wanted to learn English, and the Chinese didn't know how to speak Chinese, and the English doesn't want to speak English. So what happened to this world? It's all upside down. Patrick tried to learn Chinese, so when you see him, like he definitely wants to speak Chinese with you, and he also picked up his Chinese in uni. So when he speaks Chinese to you, then you say, okay, 这个字要这么说的，不是那样说的, and you can tell him. Or don't tell him off, but just tell him and teach him, and he will be appreciated. How's that, Patrick? It's good. And whenever that he see me, he wants to speak Chinese to me, Mandarin. So this is Patrick from Christchurch. Okay, what? Melbourne already give out, and Perth already give out. Perth nothing.
Can we get another chance? Okay. I think I'll just really want to say thank you for organizing this 4 session. It's very helpful. I think, if there's more for us it's Saturday morning session, I would love to go through this again and again because we learn so much, and then every speaker has so much to share that you really need time to digest all the information, like essence that we get. So really thankful to all the team.
Oh my God. Melbourne said that how can we Melbourne not in the list? Go Melbourne.
Sorry, Abbas, we misunderstood your question. We thought it initially you meant does anyone from Melbourne still have any questions? But I think from our Melbourne side, just very grateful that everyone has taken out time from their busy schedule from the Abbas to the speakers to give and share their life experience with us. That's something we'll keep in mind and as we go and learn from your previous experiences. Thank you.
Good. Okay, now, okay. Does Vivian want to say something or no? Oh, they didn't say anything. Okay. Huh?
Yeah.
They do? Okay, okay, turn off the mic. Turn on. Just say, speak it out.
Hello, Jixiang. We would like to thank the YAD Oceania and also Abbas Mansion for this opportunity, even though we're so far apart, we were able to join this wonderful sessions. It has been very nice and refreshing for us to join. And also we'd like to say our apologies earlier because we've been having intermittent connection due to heavy rain. So that's it. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Okay, thank you from the Philippines. Yes, don't know why you joined to the Oceania, and you Asian people already too busy, and I don't know why you joined us. You know, aren't you busy now? Why you join the Oceania? You know, the Oceania only the Australia, New Zealand, and suddenly turns out the Philippines. I don't know what happened. Okay, you take what you want. Okay, from us. Okay, now today, what about Auckland? Anyone from Auckland say something? Edwin? No, not me. It's Chikwaji.
Anyone else? Yeah, I've spoken a lot. People at the back.
That's okay. Whoever wants to say. Otherwise, Xinjin, you say. Thank you.
Thank you, Abbas, for providing your insightful sharings and answering everyone's questions. Once again, please give a big round of applause for Abbas.
I just want to say a few words because Abbas has been in Oceania for more than 30 years, 35 years. And
Since 1998, the March, which is today, is my anniversary.
Oh, wow.
I just saw that the 8th of March
8th
is
of
the
March.
day that I arrived to Sydney. Yeah,
Yes.
and it's today. Yeah.
Yeah, so Abbas has always dedicated her time for us, especially youth. She has nurtured a lot of generations of YAD members in Australia and New Zealand, and she's still here. So I'm personally very grateful. So being here, seeing a lot of generations of YAD, some of senior YAD from Australia, and she's always been there to guide us as a Abbas and also as a mom. So just want to say personally very grateful for that, have the opportunity and share your wisdom with us. So thank you, Abbas. Thanks.
Okay, and how about if we have, thank you for all the words that you say just now, and can we ask Vermeer, since you are behind the scene, we wanted to see you, and if you can speak some words to us. Thank you. Ding, here you go.
Couldn't escape Abbas Manshin's eyes. Thank you, Abbas Manshin, for the opportunity. And thank you, New Zealand, and of course, the Guiding Benevolence for organizing this wonderful 4 sessions. I tried to attend as all 4 of them, making sure our youth are online so that they do attend. It's a very good opportunity, not only for as a refresher, but also to rethink of what you have known about Buddhism. And you had the great opportunity to have Abbas to answer personal questions about everyday life that we face and how we could use the Dharma to do that. And I hope all of you have taken a lot through this, and I'm hoping to receive everyone's application by the end of April 30th, so we can have more white elephants. Not only just to have more white elephants, but more youth to have a deeper understanding, meaning that they want to take on the responsibility of not only for Buddhism, but also for the temple and BLIA. And so I'm looking forward, and thank you, New Zealand. I think next year's should be Perth's opportunity to host the Oceania white elephant training. So we're looking forward for that one. So thank you very much.
Oh, per se, that, thank you, brother. Per se, I have too many things on my shoulders. Okay, one more. I saw Reverend Chang from Christchurch. You want to say something?
Thank you.
That's okay. We just let Reverend Chang do later. So thank you all for the Oceania YADs, and we're here for the last 4 weeks. And I think we all shared our experience, and we learn from each other, and we cherish each other. So we support each other. And this year, that was what Miriam also said, that what the NWIC is what?
The white elephant.
White elephant is in, okay, but this year NWIC is going to happen in Christchurch, in Perth. So whoever in Australia that we support them if possible. But we are really from a very far country. Never mind, we able to see who is who. We're able to see, and I hope that supporting is very important. Then we learn from there, and then we squeeze our time out, and then we learn from there. We learn to support, and we learn to adjust ourselves. So all the best to you. Yep.
Thank you, Abbas, for your remarks. So as this session comes to an end, let us put some of our lessons we've learned into review. So it is important to practice 3G, 4G in our everyday life, and we should be happy to take the challenge when the opportunity arises, as opportunity seldom knock twice. Depending on how much content you have, then you understand how hard the causes and conditions are to have, and you have a greater compassion for the opportunities. Meditative concentration is important in this fast-paced world. Commit yourself to continuous learning, overcome distractions of today. Live in the present moment and focus on one goal at a time. The precept serves as our guardians and a moral way of life. The intention plays a key role in upholding the precepts, and following them will help us stay on track. The threefold training, precepts, meditative concentration, are important to combat against the three poisons: greed, anger, and ignorance. Lastly, we all possess the wisdom and virtues of the Buddha. Each of us have a diamond within us ready to be polished. We need to be our own master, pushing through our comfort zones and improve the value of our life. So thank you, everyone. Now, can I please invite you to scan the QR code for the feedback form on the screen now? And we'll have the IT team to send a link into the Zoom chat. Okay, everyone, we'll park the feedback form for now. Now, we've been in front of the screen for a long time, so it's time to move around a bit. And what better way to dance to open your heart? May I invite everyone to stand up and follow along with the video.
Yeah, before we dance, can we give a big round of applause to Abbas and us? So thank you, Abbas. Half bow. Thanks.
you, everyone. Now let's get back to the PPT. So everyone, we have the feedback form on the screen now. So just a reminder to scan the QR code and open the feedback form. So that concludes our WE training for today, and we'll see you all on the 29th of March, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. for Buddhism exam. Thank you.
Open your heart and let the feelings inside with all of your kindness and always be wise. Open your eyes, see clearly and true. Working together, we're here for you. Light up the light of peace and harmony. Light up the path for all the world to see.